What's going on, guys? How's it going? How was your weekend? How have you guys been? I hope you guys have had a good weekend. Those of you who are fathers, I hope you guys had a good Father's Day. I myself had a pretty good Father's Day. I got to spend time with the family at home and kind of just, I had a chill, relaxing kind of day, um, and just play some video games, And I finally got around to finishing Red Dead 2, which I got to put away now because it's done. So yeah, which that ending kind of left me a little. I don't know, like it left me conflicted. It left me kind of feeling a little weird. I mean, it's not the type of game that you go into and expecting a happy ending. And then if you play the first game, you already know that one of the characters who I would consider would be like the main antagonist of this game, Dutch. Spoiler warnings for you guys if you haven't played the first game or I haven't played this one, but spoiler warning. But if you play the first game, you already know going into this one that John Marston and Dutch survive. Which I hate Dutch. I hate him so much in this game, and I so many times I just wanted to shoot the back of his head. Because I don't like Dutch. And, it's a fantastic game. I loved playing every minute of it. Honestly, I've sat down. I sat down and just played this game nonstop for the past 3 days so I could finish it. I thought I was closer to the end than I actually was. I stopped playing on the live streams. I stopped at chapter 4. And so the main story has 6 chapters, but then it's got an epilogue afterwards that takes another what seems like another 10 hours. It's really not. It's more like maybe about 5-hour epilogue, which kind of bridges the story between this game and part 1. But man, finishing this game really kind of it left me in a weird spot. You know that the main character isn't gonna survive this game. You know it. And then the thing is, it has a happy ending, but it's not a happy ending because like I said, if you play the first game, you know what's gonna happen in the game. So it's because there's no real happy ending in this game in the series so far. There's no and again, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with games not having a good ending or a happy ending. I am okay with that. As long as the story is good and it's very cohesive and it feels natural. And that's exactly what they did with this game. So I don't have a problem with it not having a happy ending. Honestly, if the ending was of the game or of the series, part 1 and 2 was a legit happy ending, then I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. And you can see playing through the game that the character of Arthur, he's not a bad guy. He makes bad decisions, but he's not a bad guy. It's just he's a product of the world that the character lives in. And so I get it. And just playing as John Marston in the first game, he's not a bad guy. He makes bad decisions, but he's not a bad guy. And again, playing through this game reiterates that for John Marston, that he's not a bad guy. And I see, that's the thing, is I like games like that. I like games where it kind of just takes you to kind of a whole nother level of character development, instead of the whole okay, this is the protagonist, he's a good guy, or a hero. This is the protagonist. This protagonist is the hero of the game. When in actuality, when you play games like this or Last of Us, the protagonist is not really a hero. You play through the game and you're doing bad things. Last of Us, for example, Joel is not a good guy. He is not a hero. He's a protagonist, yes. He does things for selfish reasons, and his selfish reasons turn to doing things for Ellie, which is still him doing stuff for selfish reasons. So, when they have games when I play games like that, it's very compelling. It's a very good way of portraying a character and making them very human. Because if you're playing a game, it's so easy to put the protagonist as the hero of the game, and then they don't make human decisions. They make decisions based off of the set parameters of them being a hero in the game. That's why games like this or Fallout, where your actions and decisions are supposed to matter for certain things to show your character's development or things of that nature. It makes it very human because it's your decisions, going through it. You could go through Red Dead 2 and probably minimize how many people you kill, and at the same time it's like, what's the fun in that? uh, it brings more life to the situation that the character is in and the character lives in. Like if I pulled up another game, for example, let's say we're talking about Star Ocean, right? So if we're going to pull up Star Ocean here just for a second, we're going to talk about Star Ocean. The protagonists are protagonists. They're heroes. They're good people. They don't make selfish decisions, although they might make a couple selfish decisions, but it's nothing like Arthur Morgan making a selfish decision or Joel making a selfish decision. The characters in this game are heroes. That's who they are. They're not humanized. Like there's nothing about them that is humanized. And when you can humanize characters in video games, it gives that connection. It gives that connection where it's like, okay, can this character be redeemed after everything they've done? That's easier, or for storytelling purposes, it's easier and better to have a character who has faults, and have a character who does not make good decisions or is a very selfish person. You got to give the character room to grow as a character, or else it makes it very hard to connect with that character. Another good example of character development would be like Vegeta in Dragon Ball. Those of you guys, I guess it's easier to connect with Dragon Ball since Dragon Ball is so widely, known and people love it. Vegeta is a perfect example of a character who makes selfish decisions, who's not a good person, but it is redeemable. Like he does things that make him everything that he's done. It allows him to have redeemable qualities, and that's what makes a very good, complex character. When you have a character like, I would say Goku in Dragon Ball Z and on, because all of Goku's character development was in Dragon Ball, and it wasn't so much character development, more just like his story and stuff like that. But Dragon Ball Z and further on, Goku doesn't really have any character development because there's nothing really to develop. He's a hero. He does things for the good of people, although he does make selfish decisions because he's obsessed with fighting, but that's just who he is. And my dog is barking. But it's things like that, and that's one of the reasons why like I was able to play through Red Dead 2 and just sit down and just enjoy it, because the character development for Arthur Morgan is just fantastic, and I really like it. And at the end of his story, you're left with like, okay, well, were his actions redeemed? Did he redeem himself at the end of the story? And I feel like he did, but at the same time, he's never really able to just truly redeem himself for everything. He could only do what was available to him at that moment, at the very end of the game, or the very end of his story, because there's like I said, there's an epilogue, and that the epilogue is the very end of the game. But I could just ramble on about character development and characters in different games and stuff like that, and I think that would make a good discussion, because again, like if you take into consideration like Resident Evil, right? Resident Evil, Jill, Chris, Rebecca, they're heroes. They're good guys. They don't have faults in the sense that like they don't have selfish desires or anything like that. But then you take a character like Billy Cohen in Resident Evil 0. He has faults. He starts off as a prisoner, and he has redeemable qualities. Like he can be redeemed and stuff like that. And that's a good example of the differences between them. So you have four protagonists here, and only one actually has legit character development with their personality and stuff like that, where the other three don't. Like the other three, yes, they do develop as characters, but it just makes them more hero-like. So anyways, I'm gonna get going. I just thought I would share my thoughts on that after playing Red Dead 2. And yeah, let me know how you guys feel about like character development in video games and character discussions. Who's your favorite character that had a legit character development? And don't say something like don't give me like a Telltale series or Detroit Become Human or anything like that, because those decisions are based off of your decisions, which is not really your character's development, so to speak. So anyways, I will catch you all later. You guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching, and peace out, guys.